Welcome to the Pandemonium Witches podcast, where the ADHD has just a touch of the tism, where the true crime is just as scary as the hauntings and unsolved cases, and the hosts never stay on topic for long. I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Em.
And I'm Meg.
We are the Pandemonium. Good morning.
Good morning.
Emilie is not having it today.
Most days.
It wouldn't be a Pandemonium episode if something didn't happen with the audio, but what do you think of the new glasses?
I love them.
So, we are not sponsored by Zalul, but let me tell you, so I went to America's Best, love them.
They're pretty damn great.
They're pretty damn great. Emilie knows I have, and Rachel too, I have polycystic lipoma disorder. I have small little fatty tumors that are about the size of peas. They're so teeny tiny, but they are debilitating. I have one growing behind. Yeah, I have one growing behind my right eye. Well, I did drops for like 2 years. It's now small. It's great. We love my doctor. However, the glasses without insurance is about $200. So for $200 at Zalul, I got 5 glasses. One of them was a Sunny. All of them came with glasses claws and a tiny little leather pouch to put them in. Of course,
I love that.
I'm an extra bitch, so it has to go in my Vera Bradley very hard case because otherwise I'm probably going to break them. But they got metal and little detailing on the side. My sunglasses have little.
They kind of look like mine.
Sparklies on them.
She finds them.
Yeah.
Oh, I laugh.
Hello.
What?
Hello, Emilie. Ba-da-da-da. Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
You moved the screen down and it was just like, hello, lap.
Yeah.
Listen.
We're listening. We're waiting.
Listen, Linda.
Listen. Linda, listen.
I was hoping you wouldn't be listening. I don't have an ending to that sentence.
Did you find your glasses?
I think I left them downstairs. I can't even ask for the kids to grab them because I shoot them outside.
Oh well, that's fair.
Good place for them to be right
I'm
now.
gonna go back to eating my off-brand. This
cereal.
Isn't Captain Crunch. This isn't Chips Ahoy. This is definitely not Raisin Bran. What are you?
Let me see.
The combination bottom of the bag.
Right, I've done that before.
What are you?
I don't have enough
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right. I was living at Emilie's house, and we had taken 3 of the boxes and combined them together, and her ex-husband...
There wasn't enough in each of the bags for one bowl.
Her ex-husband...
There wasn't.
He came in, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "Trying to thrive." And I said, "In the span of chaos." And then we both went, "We are chaos." And it was a good moment. It was a good moment. He's a shitbag. But anyways, besides the point. So
What happens then when you don't go to sleep?
her uterus is
take
trying
that up with Aunt Flo.
Yeah, her uterus was trying to kill her. So
I forgot to take my meds for 3 days. I did not go to sleep till 4 a.m.
Emilie.
My kids are kidding.
Life be lifin'.
Life be lifing.
Oh.
On the bright side, I have not Raisin Bran.
Yes, you have food.
You have food.
I went to the quinceanera yesterday for Stitch, my neighbor's cat.
Yes.
Is 15. Adorable. She's shaved. But like it was necessary because she had a couple of things that she had to get done. So she was shaved all the way down to her tail. So she's just got
what?
The cat was shaved.
Okay.
Not what she heard.
No, I was yelling at the dog. I used his full government name.
Oh.
And all I heard was she was completely shaved after quinceanera, and I was like, "What fucking quinceanera?"
But it was good. I made...
You promised me pictures of puppies.
I did not get to take pictures of puppies.
I'm sad.
The best I can give you is a cat getting his driver's license.
Yes. She sent the photo in the group chat.
And I'm looking at, oh yeah.
Isn't he cute?
I love the fact he lets you put a harness on him. This thing back there.
Mm-mm.
Excellent.
Let
can't
is a
move.
strong word.
Falls over.
Let is a very strong word.
Like, I tried with that one. I did have a cat. Her name was Pixie. She was an indoor-outdoor cat, and the only way to let her go outside when we were at my grandmother's after the hurricane was on a lead.
Yeah.
And so she was completely fine with it. She let me do it. She, walk around the yard, do her business, and then she'd be ready to go back inside. That thing back there
Is a terror.
The world is ending. I'm going to fall over. What the fuck is on me?
Yeah, my first cat was like that. Puma?
Puma.
Who was a fat fuck?
Puma liked to dive bomb me, would climb on top of my freaking dresser, look at me, stick his ass up in the air, and just while I'm dead asleep, and you would hear "son of a bitch" at 5:00 in the morning. She'd wake up, run downstairs, and go, "Oh, good morning, hello, Puma." And I was like,
Yeah, didn't need an alarm clock, nothing.
I would have my door closed. However, this was before they closed up the other door, so I just put my dresser in front of it. He had figured out a way to MacGyver to the top of the fucking armoire, because it was one of those IKEA armoires with the thing. And let me tell you, after that, I started keeping shit up there. One night, I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, and all my shit had fallen down onto me. And he's sitting there licking his fucking paws like, "You think that will save you?"
This is my spot, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I raised Puma from a kitten. Puma was found at one of my mom's old job sites, where a dog had killed his mom and the other kittens in his pack.
Yeah.
And, I've raised him, bottle fed him. Puma could open doors. He could bring me. Yeah, he could open doors. He could bring me my medicine. He could sense seizures.
Mm-hmm.
He did like deep pressure therapy for PTSD attacks. He was Tyrador, Bovirador, Fafirador, Fenrir Moon, the third, first of his name. Shut up.
And yep, it's that kind of morning, guys.
Anyway, we're paying you for raising him.
Yeah, he was a good cat. Also, that's Tier's full government name.
Mm-hmm.
On another note, I have exciting news.
Mm-hmm.
The boyfriend got a new job.
Hey!
That's better than murder.
Well,
So,
yes.
Well, yes. He has been looking for a job since the end of January. And so last week he had an interview. And then the following Friday, they had a Zoom meeting with the rest of the team and him. And then he found out Friday that he got the position.
Mm-hmm.
And so excited.
Yay!
It's one step closer.
Hold on, we gotta do like the royal clapping. You guys can't see this, but we all clapped in a different way.
I did the golf clap to the side with the hand on the palm. But
I did the back of the hand.
Yes.
On the top of the hand.
Very demure.
Very demure, very cutesy.
And I did very soft fingertip claps.
Yes.
But yeah, so pretty excited about that.
I'm super stoked because, it's
a better job than what he had before.
Right.
So.
It definitely
also,
is.
A lot more. It's not a lot more money, but it's still more than what he was making.
Right.
So, hey man, money's money.
This is true.
So, murder.
Yeah, it's a murder. So, you want to hear about a double murder that happened in my dad's hometown?
Always.
Girl, what?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Tell her about Officer Doofy first off. Before we even start, there is an Officer Doofy. We're going to call him Officer Doofy today because fuck him.
And also, I don't know if he's still alive or not. And I still have family in that town, so...
Man, fuck them kids.
Not just fuck him, but like, my dad still has a fucking raging grudge against this man. Like, I talked to him last night to get more information. But like, he went on like a freaking like 20-minute rant about this guy.
True story. True story.
Oh my god. And I was just like, oh my god, Dad.
Right.
You know what?
Like, I called to ask questions about the murder, and
we can vibe. We can vibe with that grudge, though.
This is true.
My grandmother still has, even though she's dead, she still has a beef with the neighbor next door, fucking Mary. I have beef with Mary. I've met Mary once. Do I know her? No. Do I know her kids? Yes. Do I still have beef with Mary?
It's a family-based grudge.
Family beef.
She owned a peacock.
This is how mafias are made.
Listen, she owned a peacock. It used to come into her garden and eat her fucking peppers.
Oh, her peppers?
Yes, her peppers. Freaking love that.
Anyway, so Officer
Doofy. Dumb fuck.
Yes, everybody needs to have taken their meds and have their hydration station.
Hydration station.
I took my meds because I thought we were starting at 9.
No, you're just ahead of the game.
Hey!
I still have migraine though.
So somehow this idiot of a man kept his job until he chose to retire from the police force. He paralyzed a guy from the waist down. Almost shot, same case, almost shot his 2 assisting officers. Beat and broke a wheelchair bound guy's hands.
Girl,
broke
what
his
the
mag light. Hated the town kids, even if they weren't doing shit. Like, he was always trying to get them arrested for doing anything. He got caught with an underage girl in the back of his squad car at the county fairgrounds.
Whoa. Like, under
She was
18?
underage. Yeah, she was underage. She was a minor underage. Yeah.
You know, I have a jar for that.
I don't know if he's still alive or not.
Oh, well, unrest his soul.
I was about to say,
what in hell?
If he's alive, we have a guy for that. If he's dead, we have a girl for that.
Either way, we got you taken care of.
From womb to tomb. Complete witchery services.
And the beyond, yes.
Oh my god.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Is
for
it?
legal reasons, this
Kind
is
of.
a joke.
Kind of a joke.
For legal reasons, this is
with air quotes.
Seriously.
But yeah, no. Dad hated him, and I mean, for good reason. He definitely didn't make Dad's life easy at all, and Dad really wasn't a troublemaker, and it just I mean, he was a teen kid, a teen boy. Like, he did get into some shit, but nothing terrible. Like, because, you know, small town, like, very small town, and if they like did anything bad, their parents already knew about it before they even started going home. That small town. Like, it was
I mean, that's the kind of small area that my grandparents lived in. You know, everybody called them the governor and governess of Campbell.
Yeah.
Everybody knew them.
Apparently when Dad was little, there was only one black family living in town.
What?
Yeah, there was one black family.
Was it I don't want to ask this because I think I might know the answer. Was it a sundown town?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
It was just a tiny town. Very much like people like could trace their generations back to the founders of the town. People just stayed put. There was
so not
pretty much
sundown,
like
sunrise.
Yeah. So like there was like 2 plants in town. Like it's like an hour and a half outside of Columbus. It's in the mountains, so it's just small.
Right.
It's gorgeous there, but it's just small. Most people would go to Columbus to go to school, and then most of the time they would come home and marry local, stay local, die local kind of thing.
That's very much like reduce, reuse, recycle.
I do have a small question.
Yes.
Are there family trees reefs?
No.
Because, marry, stay local.
I know.
No.
People would like kind of move in and out though. So
okay. Was the joke made?
So I'm sure it probably was. So Logan, Ohio had the high school for the county.
So our stories based out of Logan, Ohio.
Yes.
Okay.
So like middle school and high schoolers were getting bussed in to go to that school from the surrounding little tiny towns because that was the local high school.
Yeah.
Dad said that he had maybe like it was like more than 300 but less than 400 people in his graduating class.
I mean,
he's like at the time of the episode that he and I watched, they were like, it was like 7,000 people in the consensus. And Dad's like, at the time of the murders happened,
no,
it was a lot less.
Yeah.
He's like, it was probably like, I don't know, maybe 3,000. And I was like, of Logan? He's like, yeah. And I was like, and that's actually of Logan, people living in Logan, not people having to drive into Logan.
Okay.
For working, or school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So even though Dad's graduating class, was, kind of large, but that's because all the surrounding city or all the surrounding towns were having to come in for that school.
Right. I mean, the private school that I went to until the year I met Josh was my junior year, his freshman year. Correction. It was my junior year and his sophomore year. And we had maybe 60 people in our graduating class. But when I went to public school, we had about 400. And it was different counties of the surrounding area, but it was anybody who was close to that area that was their school kind of thing. So I feel that. I get
that. So now they have 5 elementary schools.
Oh, nice.
1 middle school and 1 high school.
Okay.
So found
census?
The census. I always want to say consensus. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in 1820, there was 100 people.
Okay.
1850, 826.
Oh, wow.
1860, 1489. And then, it suddenly goes up. So in 1980, there was 6,557 people.
Wow. Okay.
As of 2020, there is 7,296 people.
Wow. Okay, so it's steadily increased.
Very little bit, but that's with one of the factories had shut down.
Oh.
There was a furniture factory that they made furniture, the brick maker, and then an iron plant.
So it had over the years, obviously they had shut those ones down.
Right, because people were moving away and not coming back.
Right. I get that.
Yeah. 1 second.
Wait. I love the fact that I have them on buttons now.
Me too.
Emilie had to run out of the room because her daughter scared her to death. Standing in the fucking...
I wonder what happened.
Yeah, so Raven came into the room standing like a fucking cryptid like Josh does, so I can't fucking see him. And then I turn and it's just like, Jesus, and she threw her phone at her, like, what the hell?
I mean, understandable.
I know.
Okay, anyways. Perfect time.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
The door creak is the ending. So, Logan was incorporated as a city in 1839.
Okay.
And it was the first city in the state of Ohio to install a double roundabout.
Oh, wow!
And the roundabouts were officially opened to traffic on December 4th, 2013. They also have a Walmart!
Very,
Kroger.
Very progressive, Ohio. Very progressive.
It took them a while to, I think they might have got the Walmart late 2000s. It's still a fairly new Walmart. Unfortunately, when the Walmart opened, a lot of the mom and pop stores
closed.
In Logan closed because they couldn't compete.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens.
It does.
It's about 43 miles southeast of Columbus.
Okay.
Guys, I recommend going to the Hocking Hills State Park. Doesn't matter what time of year you go. It's fucking gorgeous. They've got there's hiking trails, there's caves, caverns. It's just gorgeous. Just Google it and look at the pictures of it. Oh, yeah. We used to go that was a mandatory family adventure every time we would go up to visit Dad's family.
Oh, wow. Oh,
so Old Man's Cave.
The picture that's on for the, sorry to interrupt, the Microsoft, one of their screens, because I worked in insurance for as long as I did, the screensavers is the one from it's the waterfall that goes underneath the bridge.
Yes.
I'm looking at it right here, and that's one of the photos.
You should look it up what it looks like in the winter. Oh, it's gorgeous with the snow and the waterfalls freezing. Chef's kiss.
We should add these to the thing with the thing.
Burping? We should add burping.
Well, okay, that's something different.
All right.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Talk about sexy. No. I was talking about the damn... Wow, that shook the Etch-a-Sketch. I was talking about the bridge.
Ah.
Oh. But yeah, so fucking gorgeous. Even when we went 2 years ago and it was raining the whole trip, it was still so pretty. And that was end of November. It was still pretty.
I mean, it looks gorgeous because it's just hanging off the edge of the cliff and it's still got running water, but the snow in the surrounding area and like everything underneath it it's not covered in snow. And then you look out right past that and it's here. I take a picture.
Oh yeah.
I want to go there now. I mean, I have friends in Ohio that I need to go visit, so that's perfect.
Let's go. Road trip.
Road trip.
We going to Ohio?
Yeah.
I'll go with.
Okay.
Of course.
Y'all got to fly here, and then we'll travel from here up. Or we can...
Twit. Whoa, twit. Whoa, twit. Oh, that hurt my head.
I'll send more photos from the trip later. From when I went. Anyway, so back to the murder.
The murder!
I know we've been sidetracked a little bit.
Do we need to do a trigger warning before we get into it?
It's murder.
Not always.
But I didn't go really into detail, like gross detail, and just
okay.
I'll just say it.
This is a Pandemonium Witches podcast trigger warning. The following episode contains graphic violence and gruesome depictions. Listener discretion is advised. We're all dancing on the other side.
Dude, the Macarena was guys.
I was doing the what is it? What's her name? Docha?
The Dochi dance?
Yes. Where she does this. I don't know.
I'm over here doing the fucking Macarena.
And I'm just kind of like swaying back and forth to my own thing.
We're all dancing like white people. It's like...
And we also did... Sorry to interrupt again. We also did the new outro. So we have one new comment, but we can talk about that in a second if you guys want.
Okay. So basically I have this paragraph at the start of my notes because this hit a little close to home. Not only because her name is Annette Cooper and his name was Todd Schultz. And so
that's your name.
I was really concerned that we were somehow related because itty bitty town.
Right.
And Dad swears up and down there was no relation. But he did go to school with Todd's brother.
Oh.
Todd's brother finished out the last 2 years of high school while Dad went and did trade school.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they graduated together.
Okay.
And so, it kind of close to home, like, because, like, holy shit, I know this guy.
Right.
And Annette and Todd were a little bit younger than Dad. This took place back in October of 1982.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dad was born and raised in Ohio, in Logan. The cornfield that the bodies were found in it backed up to several houses. One of those houses was one of my great aunt's house.
This was the aunt that we were talking about the other day. What was it, like a month ago? The other day is like a month to 6 months.
The other day can range from yesterday to last year.
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Helen is no longer alive, so not that aunt.
Okay.
Yeah. Dad said that after the murders happened, the local gun store couldn't keep guns and ammo in stock because everybody was constantly emptying it out.
Stop.
Like, this town was like Mayberry before these murders. You didn't lock your doors. You could leave your windows open, leave your car running when you run into the store. Like, kids could play outside in the streets and nothing would happen. Straight up Mayberry kind of feel.
Right.
After these murders happened, you were trying to find keys to doors so that way you could lock them.
Right.
At that point, just re-key your door.
Well, this was the 80s, and most of these doors were built in like the early 1900s. So like, it's kind of hard to find the key. It would have been a little bit harder. Like, a lot of them were like little shotgun houses that still exist, because these houses are still around.
Right.
A lot of them, outside of Logan, are original log frame cabins that were built when the town was came into existence, basically.
Oh shit.
And so sorry, got a little sidetracked.
You're okay.
But yeah, so Dad said that because he had gone back from a deployment right before this happened, and so he came up to visit family right around the same time all this happened.
Right.
And so Dad said that, like most typical small towns, because it is October, hunting season, rabbit season, rabbit season,
rabbit season,
hunting season. But it's not yet deer season because the deer, weren't ready yet.
Right.
But so
they're still putting their makeup on.
Yeah, pretty much. So all the trucks, all had, gun rack in the back window. And usually they would have shotgun in there because, it is hunting season. Shotgun.
Right.
Well, the shotguns got exchanged out for high action lever rifles with scopes. Dad said that if you weren't expecting company and you didn't recognize the vehicle coming up your driveway, and you lived kind of not in town proper, you were being met with a gun because nobody knew what happened, because these were, some of Logan's finest children, and they got murdered on a night out. My Aunt Marianne said that it was the first time that she could remember being scared to leave her house.
I bet.
Because you didn't know who did it. You didn't know who to trust. Everything was just flipped on its axle.
Right.
There was a sunset to sunrise curfew in place. Basically, if you were not driving to or from work, you were not to be on the roads. The state patrol came in to help enforce curfew and to help patrol. Because nobody knew, trying to figure shit out.
Right.
And the Logan Police Department had their handful with the case, and so they needed extra help.
Right.
They were also not sure if they were going to even let the kids go trick-or-treating for Halloween.
Oh, shit.
Because between the curfew and not feeling safe. And so instead, they decided that they would hold it during the day on a Saturday. So the kids could at least have some experience of kind of a normal.
Yeah, some resemblance of normal, yeah.
Right, but everybody was so scared and on edge. But Annette was 18 and Todd was 19. They were engaged and lived together with Todd's family. And Annette went to Hawking College, which is a local community college. And Todd was a local volunteer firefighter. Todd's father was also a firefighter, so it made sense that he was also a firefighter. They were found murdered and dismembered 2 weeks after they went missing.
Damn.
Their bodies were found in the Hawking River and alongside the banks of a cornfield in West Logan. Both were shot before being dismembered and had their genitalia cut off.
Oh my God!
Because
Loki sounds like Jack the Ripper.
Todd was shot first, and then Annette was shot. Basically, the way they were dismembered, it kind of came across like it was a cult action. Because Jesus. Up to this point, there had been some random animals going missing, and basically it kind of made it seem like, it was, as they said in the episode, a satanic cult. And I was like, that We're just gonna go with cult. Because
right.
Satanism, don't do that shit.
Right.
Not don't do the Satanism shit, but don't kill people for cults. Like, it's frowned on in all 50 states and everywhere else in the world.
Right.
So what was found out later is that Todd and Annette had stopped at a party and bought some weed from somebody there, and then decided that and left the party to go to the local cornfield to smoke it, just have some time by themselves, because they live with Todd's family while they're saving money to get married and get their own place.
They go to the cornfield to do cornfield things.
Basically.
Look me in the eye and tell me I'm fucking wrong.
You're not.
You're not.
And so, because in the house, in Todd's family, Annette slept in the room with Todd's sister, and then Todd slept in the room with his brother. So there was no co-population.
Nothing. Okay.
No. So, Annette's stepfather, Dale Johnston, was the original suspect for the police. Because he was an outsider. He just didn't fit in, because they had moved to Logan.
Right.
So they weren't originally from Logan. Dale and Annette's mom, Sarah, had left their previous marriages, got married, and proceeded to move to Logan. So because he wasn't a local, and he was just, it sounded to me kind of like he was introverted, because he wasn't outgoing. He wasn't a part of all of the social clubs and didn't hang out with anybody outside. He went to work, went home. Apparently he and Sarah had a clothing limited lifestyle, where that the police didn't like, when they said, well, what do you do after, you go to work and you come home? And he's like, well, yeah. And then when I come home, I strip and go sit in my chair and read the newspaper. And the police was like, with 2 daughters in the house, you strip down naked? And he's like, yeah. Like, I get it. It kind of raised some flags for me too, but I mean, I don't know how old the girls were.
Right.
Or if, like, his armchair is in a separate part of the house, not in the main living area. Like,
right. It could have been.
He could have had
like
a man cave that he goes and sits in.
Right. Like my Uncle Dick, he had, like, they lived in a trailer, but where he liked to hang out, it was like a separate office area where he could smoke.
Yeah.
And he, he had his own little lounge area that he had in there. So it could have been like that.
Right. So, like, nothing was ever really said, but the cops basically just started off from the jump not liking Dale, and just was like, oh no, we're going to do what we basically have to do to make sure that you're the one that's guilty. And because he didn't have any friends, and he didn't go to a local church, he just hung out on his farm when he wasn't working. And, like, he just went to work, went home. That was it. Sarah did, grocery shopping, like anything else, like, in town, and then came home. So even though Dale, Sarah, and Michelle, who's Annette's sister, all denied this accusation, he was made out to have been molesting Annette and Michelle.
Excuse me.
And that
murder.
He was jealous of. He was like in love with Annette, and that he went to a jealous rage over Annette and Todd's engagement, and so he killed them. Like, that's basically what the police were believing, and that's what they were going with.
Pardon?
Because apparently Dale wasn't the biggest fan of the engagement. Well, I mean, probably because he wanted Annette to pursue higher education. Like, she was going to college, and then when she, got out of college, she and Todd were going to get married. So, yeah, he probably wanted her to pursue higher education. So, yeah, he probably wasn't thrilled that she was going to college and then going to get married and settle down. And so, like, I get it.
Right.
So the police and prosecutors focused on Dale, even though there were reliable witnesses whose accounts disputed the theory about Dale.
Okay.
They chose to believe that Dale had dismembered the couple at the farm because they found a bloody carpet in the basement and a machete. And when they asked Dale about it, he's like, I skinned a deer in the living room, and that's why there's blood on the carpet, and I just hadn't gotten rid of it yet. But no, they were so certain that the blood was going to turn up to be human, and it'd be, Annette or Todd's, and they were so sure. Basically that Dale had killed the couple before bagging up the body parts and transporting them to the river and the cornfield. And so because of it, Dale was arrested in September of 1983, almost a year after the couple's death, because it takes time.
Right.
He was tried before a panel of 3 judges because it would have been hard to find an unbiased jury. The judges were Joseph Siriglino of Lorain County, Michael Corrigan of Cuyahoga County, and James E. Stillwater of Hocking County, who presided. The prosecution's theory of Dale being jealous of the couple and being in love with Annette was their main theory. Like, this was the driving force. This was his MO. Like,
okay.
What they failed to do was disclose the statements of witnesses who could have placed the murder at the field instead of the farm. And the panel allowed the evidence that had been obtained via hypnosis to be presented instead. And so because of this, the panel convicted Dale in March of 1984 and sentenced him to death. The execution was scheduled for October 4th, 1984. However, a stay was granted in June of 1984. Dale, last I checked, is still alive. So in October of 1988, the Ohio Supreme Court ordered a new trial based on evidence that the prosecution had withheld an improper admittance of testimony that shouldn't have been allowed.
Right.
The decision was that Dale's rights had been violated by this decision to withhold information from the defense that would have exonerated Dale of any guilt.
Right.
In 1990, the Franklin County Court of Appeals ruled that much of the evidence that was originally presented couldn't be used in the second trial, and then the case was dismissed.
Holy crap.
Dale was released May 1990, only to return to Logan, where majority of the town still believed him to be guilty, and they were pissed that he got released.
Jesus Christ.
After his release, he filed his initial wrongful conviction and imprisonment claim. The Hocking County Court denied it in 1993, stating that the preponderance of evidence didn't prove him innocent. What? Just so I had to look up that word. I know most words. That was what I did not know. Apparently,
I'm not good at English.
It means that the quality or fact of being greater in number or of importance. So basically, that the amount of evidence, they're like, no, that doesn't prove you're innocent. Basically, I put in my notes, basically the court said, we don't care how much evidence that says you're innocent. To us, you're still guilty. In 2003, the legislation brought by then Ohio Representative Bill Seitz was passed to amend Ohio's wrongful imprisonment statute. In September of 2008, 2 men confessed to the murders and were arrested.
Good.
So in December of 2008, Chester McKnight, who was also known as Chester the Molester.
Excuse me?
What?
What kind of fuckery is that?
He apparently had a record, because of course, they always do.
Right?
Not a good fucking record. Jesus.
Chester pled guilty and received 2 life sentences. He apparently had met Todd and Annette at the party where they bought the weed. He found Annette attractive and wanted to have sex with her.
Oh my God.
So,
wow.
He and the second man, Kenneth Linscott, followed Annette and Todd to the field.
My God.
Because Kenneth always had a gun on him, because also, cornfield.
Right.
Like,
they got to worry about the children of the
snakes.
corn. Oh, okay. Yeah, that too.
Snakes, wild animals. Like, you're in the, even though this is a town.
Right.
It is surrounded by wood, dense woods and mountains. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're going to come upon.
Right.
So, Kenneth always had a gun on him. Chester grabbed Annette. Todd went to go protect her because that's his girl. Like, if anybody's going to have sex with her, it's going to be me. Like, fuck you. And so, Todd went to go protect her. Chester grabbed Kenneth's gun and proceeded to shoot Todd. And then realized that he had a witness, because Annette is, at this point, screaming.
Right.
Shoots her.
Jesus.
Kenneth and Chester went back to Kenneth's house, got a machete, returned to the field where they proceeded to chop up the bodies.
Oh my God.
Before dumping them into the river. Kenneth pled guilty to misdemeanor abuse of a corpse because he didn't pull the trigger. He couldn't get charged with manslaughter. He received time served because he had already, he was in jail at this point. So he got time served and was released. So rape or intended rape and escaping detection for those crimes were specified as motives for the murders in the indictments.
Jesus.
In 2012, Franklin County judge ruled Dale innocent, which allowed him to then sue the state for damages.
Oh my fucking God.
The attorney general at that point for Ohio was Mike DeWine, appealed, and this decision allowed Dale to seek compensation from the state, and this decision that allowed Dale to seek compensation from the state was reversed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So in March of 2014, Franklin County Court of Appeals ruled that the 2003 legislation change didn't operate retroactively, but Dale appealed that too, because he's like, no, you're going to give me money for
what you did,
basically my life being ruined.
Right.
And in February 2014, Mansouri versus State found that the 2003 statute amendment should be interpreted to limit claims to only those errors in procedure occurring after a sentence has been passed. So in 2015, the Ohio Supreme Court reversed the decision that the Court of Appeals did, ruling that the legislation can be applied retroactively, and ordered the Court of Appeals to reconsider the case. A new trial then happened and found Dale innocent, because of course.
Right, of course.
But he had to be ruled innocent after being found guilty. But in 2016, the Court of Appeals again overturned the right to seek compensation, again citing Mansouri versus State.
Oh my God.
And then the Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear Dale's appeal the following year.
Of course.
In 2017, so like this is like almost up to current.
Right.
So in 2017, Attorney General DeWine opposed the legislation that would allow Dale to seek damages from the state. And in 2019, that legislation was passed and overset the Mansouri's limitations in cases of a Brady violation, which consists of exculpatory or impeaching information and evidence that is material to the guilt or innocence or to the punishment of a defendant.
Jesus Christ.
It was then signed into law by then Governor John Kasich in December of 2018, the month before the then Attorney General DeWine would have taken office as governor.
Oh my God.
So the former governor is like, I'm gonna hurry up and sign this shit into law before the next guy can decline it. So in 2020, the state of Ohio finally settled with Dale.
Oh my God.
And he got paid for $775,000.
Jiminy.
The Akron Beacon Journal reporter, Bill Osinski, covered the case from the very first trial and said that there was an astounding lack of physical evidence, but that local opinion had influenced the trial. No shit.
Right.
Because Dale was considered an outsider, he was convicted in popular opinion, which influenced the panel of the 3 judges.
Of course it did.
Witness to innocence categorized the factors in the wrongful conviction as involving mistaken witness identification, false or misleading forensic evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct. There's so many newspaper articles about this case. There's even a friggin' wiki page about it. But honestly, a large chunk of information, like most of it came from like the news articles, and obviously my dad. So there's a docuseries called Buried in the Backyard. It's on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
I think it's also on Hulu. So season 2, episode 1 is about Annette and Todd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and if you watch it, you'll see Officer Dickhead.
Officer
because he's interviewed in it.
Wait, I want to see this. Where can I? Wait, what? Huh?
So it's on Peacock. Google said it was also on Hulu, but I couldn't find it on Hulu.
Give me names. Give me names.
So it's Buried in the Backyard.
I'm looking it up too.
But yeah, no, like the only reason why Officer Dickhead had a job is because he was buddy with the police chief.
It's also on the boob tube.
Okay. Good to know.
And the Scamazon.
I just knew it was on Peacock because that's how Dad was like, oh yeah, like we were finding something to watch and we were watching this and watched through season 1 and then flipped to season 2 and boom, fucking my hometown. And I was like, holy shit. But like overall, like it was a good episode. Like as they were like panning through like parts of the town, I'm like, oh shit, I know that, and I know that, and I know that, and I'm like, oh my god.
But I mean, how was it talking? If we can talk about it, how was it? My mic fell over like twice. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. I can hear you just fine.
Okay. So, what was it like talking to your dad about it?
aside from the raging hatred for the cop.
From Officer Doofy, yeah.
Yeah. It was all right. Because it just kind of was like a little, I don't know, not odd, kind of interviewing my father, but it was, he would be like, oh yeah, like, no, this happened here. Oh yeah, like, no, that was, Aunt Helen's house. It was basically, kind of in her backyard kind of thing. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I started off like asking him questions through text message, and he was like, you can call me right, I'm awake. He's like 2 hours behind me. So I was just like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't realize you were still awake. That's why I just sent a random text message.
Right. Because doesn't he live in Nevada?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, maybe?
So he knew of Kenneth.
Right.
But he didn't know Chester.
Oh.
And so, because it happened in 82, Dad enlisted around that time. And so I was like, is there anything that you remember happening? Do you remember from it happening or around that time? Because he's like, I just returned from Guam when it happened. The whole town was in shock. You couldn't buy a gun in town because they couldn't keep up with the demand. I don't think there was a car or truck that didn't have a gun in it.
Oh, yeah.
And the streets at night were dead.
Sounds like the South.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't know who to trust.
Right.
So he was like, the cornfield is located behind Aunt Helen's house when she was alive. And I went, that's terrifying. And he went, and yes, she was alive then. Sir, it was the 80s. Of course she was alive. He said, the funny part about the show is that Captain Douchebaggery was an officer at that time and nobody liked him. There were a lot of scandals surrounding him. He was a real POS.
And I don't think that means piece of silver either.
No, not at all. Dad said he and I had several run-ins. He beat up an old guy in his driveway and then shot a guy in the back. Beat up a guy in a wheelchair on Main Street one time. He would harass us when we were just hanging out. And I was like, how did he stay on the force? He said small town politics. And I was like, oh yeah, good old boy system. And then I got him on the phone and I was like, oh yeah, good old boy system. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. And it didn't help that he was buddy with the police chief at that time. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that'll do it in a heartbeat.
Right.
Because they were both they both served in Vietnam, so they could, be buddy about that, and they made friends. But no, like I collected a lot of different news articles. I want to say there's even a book written about it. But yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3. I have 10 sources.
Oh shit.
I thought you were going to say 10 pages, but close enough.
Yeah, pretty much close enough.
Yeah.
A lot of them is just newspaper articles, like local or, around that area newspaper articles that covered it and had like updated information about it and everything. But no, yeah. 1 second, hold please.
Oh. Nope.
Wrong button.
I hope you keep that in the episode.
There we go. I typically try to keep it in the episodes.
Okay, found it. So there is a book.
That was perfect timing.
Right. Written by Bill Osinski that I mentioned earlier. It's called Guilty by Popular Demand, a true story of small town injustice.
Ooh! Can you send that in the group chat?
To the group.
Yeah, so I can copy and paste it.
It's on the South America website.
Okay.
But like I haven't read it, but it's written by the same guy that followed the whole entire the trial and the whole entire case from start to finish. So leading up to the two guys confessing, the detectives decided that they were going to look at the case with fresh eyes.
As they should.
Along with, right, and not let anything sway them, just let the evidence lead how it leads, instead of forcing it. That's when they realized that, because they had found a boot print in the dirt, which doesn't really say much because it could have been anybody's. But they, the original officers were so sure that it was Dale's that they had taken Dale's boot to try and make it match.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Well, but before, they tried to force it, they'd taken a plaster of the footprint.
Uh-huh.
But they were, so sure, even though, and they sent that evidence out to be evaluated by specialists, and the specialist's it's inconclusive. It's inconclusive. Well, it's a small town. Majority of the time, everybody's wearing the same boots.
Right.
There's only so many stores to shop from.
Right.
Especially in the 80s. Most boots are going to be similar, or similar tread or something. So, inconclusive. So it turned out that it was one of the actual murderers' shoe print. But yeah, I actually had kind of fun researching this, just because I was like, oh, I know where all this stuff is, and it was fun, but
at the same time,
at the same time.
Right, at the same time, not fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a flip of a coin.
My gosh.
But yeah, Marianne had mentioned it to Dr. Sister the last time she went up there. And since then, I've been slowly kind of piecing it together.
Yeah.
And then when Dad was like, oh yeah, no, I watched, the episode last night or tonight, and holy shit. And I was like, oh, well, good thing I was already researching this information.
Right.
Tell me more. Let me pick your brain.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
They did not have a car. Well, I don't know. Probably did. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. That was Annette and Todd.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The lovely couple that never got their happily ever after.
Which sucks. And it's one of those things, I never try to, speak up in these episodes about that, is it just kind of fucking sucks. Yeah.
It really does, because they were kids.
Right.
Literally. Not 18 to 19 years old, literally children, and had a whole life ahead of them. And then just was yanked out.
I know. Yeah. I hate that.
Fluffy hates it too. She's just glaring at me.
But I mean, at least there was some sort of resemblance of justice, right?
Yes. They did end up, getting the actual killer, and so there was finally justice. It just...
Yeah, it's not like a lot of these stories.
Took a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took it happened in 82 and it wasn't until 2008
Jeez.
that they actually got the actual
Something.
murderers.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But I mean, if you think about it, DNA has really come a long way, because we talked about it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
In oh God, what was it, that ice cold case where she was murdered in the 60s in an elevator, and they didn't.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't find the killer until 2020.
Right.
And it's because DNA hadn't been tested yet, and finally they went ahead and tested it, and they were like, oh my God, we found out who the killer is. He died of a heart attack, and it's like, yes, that is a painful.
I hope it was very painful heart attack.
Yeah, it was.
I have bones to pick with heart attacks right now. My brother, 29 years old, had a heart attack on Friday.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Thursday.
Whichever day it was.
Last week, I called him up. I was like, hey, asshole, only one of us is allowed to have health problems. It's me. He hung up on me.
I already have the monopoly on this.
I already have the monopoly on health problems.
Motherfucker, that's me. He hung up on me.
Yeah, so the only reason why they even, between looking at the evidence with new eyes and I don't remember if it was Kenneth or Chester wrote in admitting the murder that they committed it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, because I think it was Chester. And so he was like, I got nothing else to do. I'm going to confess my sins and just get off my chest kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, that murder back in 82. Oh yeah, that was me.
I mean, but a lot of old people do that. Like on their deathbeds, they'll confess to murders. Like those poor MAs.
Well, I mean,
in his 50s.
We just talked about it. It was just published this last week. We did Dr. John Trifle. Trifle.
Truffle.
No, Trifle. Trefil. Trifle.
I'm gonna call him Truffle.
That's what we were calling him for the episode because I couldn't pronounce the last name. And the Zodiac Killer, he admitted to all of these murders up and down the coast on Highway 1 and Highway 5 in all of, you remember those small little dinky towns I showed you the pictures of?
I was listening to that doing a puzzle at work. I was no headphones, just raw dogging it at work.
Just raw dogging it at work. But like
my poor coworkers.
When I tell you, I left so many messages, they still haven't gotten back to me. And it's like, I posted it on her post, like, can I message you? And it got flagged and it got removed. And I was like, what the hell? And so, like, now I have no way of getting in touch with her because all of her stuff is like, searched for many a profile since then. So now I don't remember the post. But I mean, like, her father's quote unquote deathbed confessional, it was to her. And was like, I'm so sorry for hurting you. I did all these terrible things. Here's where all the stuff is.
Yeah, a lot of like old people will do that. They'll like, come here, dearie. Working as a CNA in a.
You hear a lot of shit.
Oh yeah,
because they have to tell somebody and get it off their chest. You just happen to be the unlucky one.
They feel like it's their last effort to get into like the good place wherever they decide to go, whatever their religion is.
Right.
Like
that shit's been decided a long time ago.
Right. My favorite old person I ever worked with in the home I used to work at held my hand and said, "Listen, dearie, my old ex-husband, he did not die of old age. I killed him." Oh. And then she keeled over. And I was like, you can't tell me this!
I mean, the two guys I used to hang out with and play Scrabble with in Santa Clara, may they rest in peace, because they have passed over the years. When I last saw them, It's right before I moved to Virginia. And ironically enough, one of them was named Sven. He was German. And he was very respectful and very understanding, but it was one of those things where he had admitted to me and to the guy that he used to play Scrabble with, which I think it was Henry or Greg or something. I can't remember his name. It was very basic, like very normal. And he had told Henry, we're just going to call him Henry because...
Henry's a good common name.
He died several years before. So Sven was the last one to go. But I remember him telling me no one's going to show up for my funeral. I was a horrible man when I was younger, and I was horrible until I moved here. And I said, why were you so horrible? Like, what did you do? And he goes, I didn't have a choice. And I was like, okay, can you tell me why? Because I'm pretty sure I know somebody who can forgive you. And I contacted one of my friend's grandmothers who was in a concentration camp, took her with me to go meet Sven, and she forgave him. And he just broke down crying. And I want to say maybe about 4 days after that I had left, and the day after that he had died. So I wasn't able to go to the funeral. I was distraught for days. Ex-bestie was just like, suck it up. He was old anyways, and he was a Yahtzee. And I was like, he didn't have a choice. Same with my grandfather. Like, they were like, you do this or we kill your whole family. Like,
some people choose to do it and some people don't have a choice.
Right. And it was
like, I am not a Nazi sympathizer.
Not at all. Not at all. This is not the channel for that. If this is your channel, go away.
It's like when boys were getting
drafted.
What's the word?
Drafted?
Yeah, basically drafted for the Vietnam Army.
Yep.
Or for the war. I use war loosely.
Yeah, my granddad, when he came back from the war, he was getting spat on.
Yeah.
He didn't have a choice.
Right.
His number was called.
Right. But it's one of those things where people don't realize that,
and it's not even like he did anything either. He was a cook.
Right.
He was a cook.
He was behind lines the whole time.
Yeah. He didn't do shit.
Probably one of the safest jobs he could have had.
He made scrambled eggs from powder.
Ew.
And he came back and people called him a baby killer.
He probably never wanted to deal anything with eggs again, though.
No.
I don't blame him.
No.
But I did find out. So when Chester confessed, he was 54 years old. Or well, this was in 2012. He was 54.
Good.
Sounds like ripe age to be murdered.
And that he's the one that had confessed to it. And he had talked to... So he was already in a prison. He was already... in another prison for a different crime when he confessed. So he spoke with an investigator after spending months of soul searching. But obviously the investigator was skeptical because they're like, how do we know you're telling the truth? Like, we don't believe you. Like,
right.
And so Chester told him, okay, well, call Hocking County Sheriff's Office. They'll tell you, and here's details that, will match that proves I'm know what I'm talking about. So they did, and he came back and was like, they'll be up to see you Monday. Like, oh yeah. That is a trip worth going on. And when asked why he didn't come forward until 26 years after the teen's death, he said, a lot of soul searching, mostly. Tired of running, hiding, and, an innocent man was still being blamed for the whole thing. And I felt that, it was time to come forward.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Right. 26 years after the kids had died.
Well, it's about time that I let that innocent man that took the blame not take the blame anymore.
When he pled guilty to the crimes in December of 2008, he declined to tell the court and the victim families what had happened that night. But he did say that the book that Bill Osinski wrote is pretty spot on with what happened, although some of it, including the accusation that the teens were smoking weed, remains disputed by the Schultz family. Of course it does, because they don't want to believe that their son was smoking weed.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing because our family, my mom was Roman Catholic and then she just became Catholic. Emilie, stop torturing your damn cat.
The look on his face, though.
I will murder you while you sleep. That's what it looks like.
I was shitting your shoe.
It's one of those things where it's like my mom is very adamant that I never did drugs. You both knew. I did.
You were just good at hiding it.
I was so good at hiding it.
Strict parents make sneaky kids.
And when I tell you,
It does.
so I never did drugs in my mom's house. I was very respectful of that. If I wanted to go do drugs, like any California teen, I went to a Denny's parking lot at 2:00 in the morning and did drugs that way. I'm sober. I just
got some food, came out, got high.
Right. I just had my 20th sobriety anniversary.
Woo!
For narcotics. And I mean, it's been 5 years for everything. So no drugs, no nicotine, no alcohol, no nothing. So I'm so proud of myself. But my brother did do drugs in the house. And the only reason he got caught was because of me, because I was having a little petty party because I was pissed at him.
As we do.
Because he told Mom, your daughter does drugs. And I was like, I don't do drugs in the house. And he goes, what? And I was like,
I'm respectful of my parents.
I was like, go check his trombone case. And she's like, what?
Not the trombone case.
I made him a hinky holder. One of the ones that holds the smell in.
Yeah.
I made him a hinky holder that was stuffed and everything. I stitched it up for him. He decided to be a little bitch and not pay me back the money that he owed me. Guess what?
You took it back.
I took it back. So, you want to play petty? Not a problem. I'm the queen at this game, bitch. So
fuck games, fuck prices.
No. So, like, my mom still to this day was like, my son never used drugs in the house. And I went,
ma'am,
you found the bong in his closet, in a hidey hole, in the trombone case, in the smell thing. Really? And then he made a hole in the wall to put the rest of this shit in. And I was like, if it's warm, it's going to start a fucking fire. Go look in that hole.
Right.
See, with me, my mom was adamant that I smoked with one of my friends. She was adamant. She was like, every time you go over there, you're smoking it. And I'm like, no, I never did like any sort of drugs.
Right.
Until I got out of the military.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just for pain.
Right.
And that was like the legal stuff. That's the green stuff. Yeah, that's the green stuff. That's the the natural
It's gardening.
Stuff.
You were a gardener. Yes.
I was a gardener. I never did
grass.
She was adamant to this day that between the ages of 14 to 18, that with my friend that I was out there smoking.
Partaking.
I was like, no, she was. More power to her.
Right.
Not me.
But because you were around it, you still smelled like it.
Yeah. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, I know you did it. I know you did it. And I was like, no, because I wanted to join the military. I wanted to be Joe Navy. I knew that shit was going to pop.
Right.
Right.
I mean, let's not get started. We can spend a whole episode talking about this. We're far too late into it. But
anyways, so the reason why Kenneth got time served is because he had been in jail since September of 2008. So and he had served, so he was originally sentenced 6 months and $1,000 fine. So because by the time trial happened, he had served more than 6 months in jail, he was subsequently released. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When asked if he regretted what happened that night. Chester said that he did. I would have come forth if I didn't. I would have just left it the way it was because my out date was in 2017. He explained that he was scheduled to be released from prison for a prior offense. But hearing about the pain and suffering that he caused to the families really wears on him.
Then you should have come out sooner.
Agreed.
Right. He's like, it's nothing to laugh about, and I'm 54 years old. I caused a lot of, because it's a newspaper article, of course they cut it out, caused a lot of explicitive. Yes, I did. And it's time to put it all to rest. I can't bring back the 2 victims. The only thing I can do is bide my time being incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
He did apologize to the families, and said that I'm just glad that they didn't request the death penalty like the citizens of Logan did Dale, because I was expecting to go to trial and for them to not even try to make a plea bargain. My attorneys talked to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors talked to Todd's family and everything. I just thank God that they didn't treat me like the people of Logan treated Dale for this.
Right.
And then it goes on to say he will be up for parole in 2037 when he's 79 years old. But Chester says he's sure he's never getting out of prison. Don't worry, I'm not getting out. I probably won't even make it. But I mean, I've been in and out of prison most of my life. And just like my attorney told the Columbus Dispatch, I'll end up dying in here.
Good.
All of his convictions over the years have been abduction, felonious assault, importuning, attempted unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, which is how he got the molester thing, pandering obscenities involving minors, pandering sexual materials involving minors, and 2 counts of aggravated murder. He says he stays to himself in prison and has only received 1 ticket since first being incarcerated at Madison in 2004. He was 24 years old at the time of the murders and was at the height of his alcohol and drug addiction.
I did some pretty fucked up shit when I was on drugs.
But you never killed anybody.
Correct. I woke up in a Denny's parking lot missing my left shoe, half of my pants, and I was wearing a bra, and my shirt was like slashed in the front. Do I know how it happened?
Half of your pants?
Was
it the front half or the back half?
No, it was just
like the left side,
just
or
the right side, just the right side. What had happened was I had apparently split the seam on my pants, had gotten mad, and just ripped the crotch. So I only had the right side on. Listen, there's a whole story that goes into that. Anyways, besides the point, the only person who knows what happened was Josh. So
apparently Chester tries to be a positive influence on the younger inmates at the prison who still have their whole lives ahead of them.
What?
It's like this. I tell them I've ruined my life. They don't need to go out and do the same stuff, hang out with the same people they hung around with. It's time to change friends. It's time to change locations if they have to and everything, because this place ain't it. This place just ain't where to be. Most of the guys that I'm talking to is 18 to 25 and everything. They've got the rest of their life ahead of them, which is true. Like, he is giving valid advice.
Yeah.
He said that if he could do it all over again, that he would go all the way back to when he was a kid before he started drinking alcohol with his uncle at the age of 9.
Damn!
But yeah, so he says he has no one to blame but himself for his misdeeds. But he believes that growing up without a father didn't help. Yeah, it probably didn't help, but at least you're holding yourself accountable too.
Yeah, because I know plenty of people who grew up without fathers that didn't murder people.
Right. So he's only seen his dad once in his whole life, and he was in the Lebanon Correctional Institute, and he was 33. And he expected me to call him dad. And I told him, look, I don't need a daddy. I was doing 6 to 15 years in prison. I don't need a dad. I mean, that's fair.
Right.
He's already got one in prison.
Oh.
Probably. He hasn't seen or heard from his mom in 6 years at the time of this article. Which, it's sad, but, he made his choices.
Right.
He was born in 1958. So
he's a bit old.
He's currently 67 years old.
Good for him.
But yeah. All right, I'm gonna quit going down this rabbit hole.
So
I can keep going, and just find more random shit.
Okay, Alice.
We have a few listeners that are in Ohio. We got Susie Q, and then we also have Linda Lou. You okay? Humming.
You're not muted, Em.
Shit. Sorry, it reminded me of a song.
Oh, Susie
I'm like, Em,
Q,
we
baby,
can hear you.
I love you, my Susie Q. Yep, I know. Every time she calls me, that's her ringtone. So, when we decide to go to Ohio, we'll definitely be making a stop, saying hi to those people.
Yes.
Because, good gods. Yeah. Thank you for today. We hated it.
Welcome.
Yay!
Yay!
Another episode down. Okay. So you said we had a comment.
We did! We did! Sorry, I'm making our Instagram post at the same time because I like to work while we're recording. Because, my work is never done. Editing and prepping and doing the audio and all that other shit.
All the
making babies, things like that.
Hey, So now we're at 90 followers. Emilie wrote a comment on
our M or different M?
Our M.
Oh.
Her dad is
like I said, I was listening to it at work.
Right. So the most recent episode is called Her Dad is an Alleged Serial Killer. Serial spelled Cereal.
Like food cereal.
Unloading on Dr. John Truffle and the Zodiac Killer. Emilie said, fun fact, it's against the law to wood from redwood forests. It also, fun fact, my mom has wood from there, but no one knows where she got it from, not even her. It is true. The Ansel Adam Axe came in. Yeah. The Ansel Adam Act came in, I want to say it was in the 80s, maybe the 70s, where it became illegal to harvest redwood. We had redwood in my aunt's house, and it was one of the floors, and they've refurbished the floors and everything like that. There are so many houses in that area that are old vintage houses that have redwood in them. So it's one of those things where it's like you can't get it now, but you can get fake redwood, the vinyl flooring, so it looks like it. But
so it's not even like flooring, it's like an actual chunk of wood.
Yeah.
And it's just like the petrified wood forest. I don't know if you've heard of that either.
Yes.
It is illegal to take wood from there.
Emilie.
I don't know how it ended up in my house because it's been in my house since before I was born.
Correct.
That explains why you're haunted as fuck.
There is a chunk about the size of one Emilie forearm, which is
decent size,
which is about 9.5 inches. That's a good schlong,
Wow. Okay.
That took a turn.
My goodness.
It is huge. My mom uses it as a doorstop.
No, what?
It is huge.
It works.
It's the size of a stone. We have redwood and petrified wood in my house, and my mom's like, I don't know how it got here. It's just here. And I'm
appeared
like,
one day.
Mom, you are the reason I saw ghost in my room. My brother does not believe me. My brother does not believe in the Los Espuquidos. He just chalks it up to, he has walking dreams. I'm over here like, Mom, there was a woman right here screaming
and now I know
at
why.
me.
And now I know why. Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, but yeah. Yeah, I was like listening to that doing a puzzle at work.
So productive at work.
They put me in the one section where I couldn't even badge in. I had to like ring in and be like, "Can you let me in?"
That's so weird.
I didn't do anything. I saw like a barely started puzzle in the back, and I was like, "Hey,
I can do this.
Can I play with the puzzle for 2 hours?" And now this barely started puzzle is almost done. It's 1,000. It's 1,000 pieces. I listened to the podcast the entire time.
I feel that. I listened to it Friday when I was getting my tires rotated. So
Yep.
I was like, I got nothing but time, and I can't talk on the phone because it's loud as hell. So might as well.
I was listening to it while I was prepping for the party yesterday. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But that being said, this was our episode for today, guys. As always,
what the fuck was that?
She just completely blanked. You good, Em?
I guess the cat misjudged the distance from the stair to my door.
Oh no.
And just
into the door or into the stair?
Into the door. Face first. Into the door.
I was like, her Etch-a-Sketch just like sudden wiped blank.
Right. I was like, what did you do? Jesus, Emilie.
Right.
I short-circuited, apparently.
Apparently.
Do stupid shit, guys.
Don't do stupid shit.
Be safe.
Bite the hand.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye. Oh, I didn't say it! Steve Farrell!
Bye, guys.
Oh, gosh, no.
Next time on the Pandemonium Witches. His family lived in severe poverty, and they were usually on welfare. Friday, July 29th, 1994. Megan was living an ordinary life. Well, Jesse stopped Megan while she was riding her bike so she could chat with him. Police obtained the consent of the homeowner, Jesse's roommate, to search Jesse's living quarters. Police questioned him again. Shaking and sweating, he began by stating he saw Megan at 5:30 to 5:30 p.m. with a friend while he was washing his bike. I'm not a mass murdering fuckhead. You're not a mass murdering fuckhead. Josh isn't a mass murdering fuckhead.
At least not the last time I checked.
I don't think so. Honey, am I a mass murdering fuckhead? Just wanted to check.